You're doing it.
Doing what?
Using your imagination, Peter.
Like a lot of kids from the 90s, my husband and I wondered what the imaginary pie from Hook tasted like. So we scoured the internet and we found the perfect recipe. And let me tell you, this pie is delicious. It's a lot better than what I imagined. So the first thing I do is preheat our oven to 400 degrees. Then I take a fork and start poking holes into our pre-made pie crust. You can also make the crust from scratch if you have the time. So the filling for this pie is basically a vanilla mousse. I'm not sure if you can mix all of this by hand, but I used a hand mixer with the whisk attachment to beat all of this together. So the base of this pie is basically just the vanilla mousse with red food coloring. And it took me a few times to add the food coloring and get it to the right color. I was afraid of putting too much in there and just making it taste kind of bitter. So my filling is more pink than it is red. And here's a little bit of slow-mo action for your viewing pleasure. You want to make sure to beat the mixture until it's very heavy, almost like a frosting consistency. Take the red filling and let it set in the refrigerator while you mix the two extra colors in a separate bowl. Do not be like me and not get enough heavy cream. I tried to make do with what we had on hand, but the mixture was just way too runny and it was not going to be able to be used as a topping. So my husband jumped in his truck and got us some more heavy cream. By the way, he is also my cameraman, so props to him for doing all this stuff with me and always giving into my crazy ideas. Alright, he is back, so let's add the half a cup of cream that I was missing and finish up the topping for the pie. Once the mixture looks like frosting, get a separate bowl and start putting in some of the topping into that bowl. This will be your two separate colors. Grab your green food coloring and start mixing in the first bowl. And I would just say mix it to whatever shade of green is your favorite. In the second bowl, I'm going to go ahead and add the blue food coloring to the mixture and whip it until it looks good. Once your pie crust has baked and cooled, grab a large Ziploc bag and start filling it up with your pie filling. The recipe calls for a pastry bag with one of those tips on the end, but I didn't have that, so I went ahead and used what I had on hand. A pair of scissors and a Ziploc bag work just fine. I know at this point the pie does not look aesthetically pleasing, so I'm going to go ahead and grab a spatula and start smoothing out the filling to make it look kind of silky and just like something that anybody would want to eat. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab 2 sandwich-sized Ziploc bags and put the green mousse into one bag and the blue mousse into the other. These mousses are going to be used for the dollops on top of the pie. After you cut the tip of the green bag, go ahead and take that color and swirl it in the middle of the pie, kind of stacking it on top of each other to make a nice thick dollop. Here I am filling up the last Ziploc bag that I'll be using to make the blue dollops on the pie. I went ahead and decided to put 5 dollops of blue on our pie. There's really no wrong way to make this. It's your creation and your imagination, so just do what feels right to you. At the end of the day, it tastes delicious and it's a lot of fun to make. We had a great time picking up all the ingredients and bringing them back to the house to put this pie together. It doesn't cost very much for the ingredients, and I would recommend doing this with your kids or even your husband or your wife. Anyone who's a child at heart will enjoy the imaginary pie. She's still too young to try it, but our daughter wanted to leave her mark in our creation. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.